Now, as South Africa heads to local government elections, the calibre of councillors has come under the spotlight. The PR system means that councils are made up of directly elected ward councillors and PR councillors appointed on the basis of proportional representation among the parties. It's emerged now that more than 60% of councillors do not have basic computer skills. 6 months ago, the South African Local Government Association, SALGA, also said that political parties should address the situation, saying almost 30% did not complete school. The Deputy Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister, Thembisile Simelane-Nkadimeng, has bemoaned the lack of skill amongst these very important elected officials. To discuss, we're joined by the CEO of Breakthrough Development and Senior Lecturer at Gibs, Buyani Zwane. Mr. Zwane, thank you for being with us. So if 62% of councillors are not able to use basic computers, that is the latest finding, what does that mean for governance?
Well, it's a significant worry. Thank you very much for the opportunity to engage with you. It is a significant worry. When you've got 6 out of 10 people unable to do what's required, that works out to 3 out of 5. It's recipe for things going really bad. But it's not really just about skills. There is a little bit more that we would need to be able to pay attention to. So we can discuss that in a lot more detail, but the SALGA research and assessment that comes through really indicates there is work that needs to be done, but it's not just a skills issue, which is a competence matter, but it's also a character matter, and we can discuss that further.
Yeah, so you're saying ethics, even if you're very skilled, that doesn't mean you have the requisite ethics. But, you know, corruption is a huge problem. And we could say you can even put in competent officials. But the councillors are the ones who have to hold those officials accountable as well. So do you think that, poor councils, a poor calibre of councillor is leading to many of the systemic problems that we're seeing?
Well, I think there's a need for us to look into councillors are the link between citizens and the government entity. And officials are there to be able to deliver on the work that needs to be delivered per the promises that government has made at a local level, which is where people feel it. So we can talk about accountability. There are various levels of accountability. The first and foremost is accountability to the ward, to the citizens that you're working with. And then it's accountability to whatever institution that you're a part of. But that accountability in itself means you have an appreciation of values that govern your life and the people you represent. If that is not in place, we are bound to end up with people who are adept at avoiding responsibility first and accountability next. We are going to be able to get lots of that because to a large extent, we as citizens as well do not seem to appreciate what our rights are and what the responsibilities of councillors are, and what they sign to when they get elected to the council. Those documents are largely unknown to the citizenry. We don't even attend meetings in the local government, which means statements are made on our behalf without us responding and challenging what is being told as to whether it really is happening on the ground.
If we focus on the skills, as far as I know, parties don't actually require any particular qualification from councillors. Is it time for that to change? Should parties start putting in some conditions? I did see the EFF saying that councillors must, once they come in, they do at least have to obtain a post-matric qualification within 3 years. Could that go some way towards changing things?
It would. However, if we think we're taking ourselves seriously, we need to be requiring the very best of our councillors before they step into a position of responsibility. When they're already in, we are going to have to require a long period of probation and then training up. That does not help. What we require are people who take themselves seriously, take the citizens seriously, and the delivery seriously. 27 years down the line, we cannot afford to only have 7 municipalities meeting the requirements of the PFMA. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah. And ethics-wise, I mean, you can come up with a code of conduct, things like that,
Yep.
but then we as citizens, like you say, have to enforce it anyway.
Well, what is critical about the whole concept of ethics is that it's not about good and bad. It's about right versus wrong. And this speaks to our conscience. When we are engaging on behalf of the citizenry, when we are engaging on behalf of people who have put their whole future into our hands, we need to be people whose words can be trusted, can be believed. There's got to be a balance of character and competence. We need to be able to take people into the positions demonstrating, one, they have the capability to get the job done. Two, that they have a track record. After 27 years, we should be able to have something we can point to that they have done before they step into the position. We should not really be doing this, allowing for more trials, as it were.
And capability to get the job done. What does that mean? Does that mean you have to have a post-matric qualification at least? Should there be those barriers to entry for other councillors who maybe are great and respected by the community and ethically sound?
Primarily, being able to read the documents that are presented to you as a report of what has been done up until now. So literacy becomes important. I mean, there are people who are much older, went through schooling in the days before we had grade 12. So if they are able to demonstrate that they can read with comprehension, second, they can work through the numbers. They deal with budgets. And if they're not going to be able to deal with and understand the budget, the wool will be pulled over their eyes and they will sign off on things that should not have been carried out in the first place. Or they will commit to things that there is no budget for. And therefore they raise expectations in the community, and then the community realize nothing is being done because the officials look into the coffers and say there is no money. So it's critical to be able to have that. We are tough when it comes to work in the corporate sector, even in the non-profit organizations. Why can we not be tough on those who are looking after our basic rights and basic necessities?
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the budget for the city of Johannesburg, 6.3 billion rand is what they're dealing with, the councillors there. Many of the parties saying it'll be better this time. Let's wait and see. But thank you for that analysis of the caliber of councillors and the problems that have been found. Buyani Zwane, CEO of Breakthrough Development and Senior Lecturer at Gibs.